이게 무엇이 나와가지고 이거는 이게
During the time of Noah, there was a flood, and the ark was built to save good people, Noah's family, animals. When the flood stopped, and God made a promise to Noah and not to make any more flood to happen.
We have a community which is gone. We have a number of villages where the seawater has broken through into the freshwater pond and is now affecting the food crops. And that is happening in different islands. Whether they are climate change induced or not, I'm not the scientist, but I am dealing with these issues at the moment, and our people are being affected.
The problem now is that the sea is getting very high and our land is getting small, and because the tide is coming all the time.
There is a lot of coastal erosion taking place. You know, you've probably seen a lot of seawalls built. Even within the islands, you have different heights. You know, heights in a few centimeters matter. There are some that are a few centimeters higher than the rest. Then the low ones would like to build seawalls so that they match the height of theirs.
As you will understand, our islands don't have a continental shelf, so there is no material that we can dredge up to build up the islands.
There's a lot of change. The wells, they're getting saltier. In our village, we use the well water, and now the waves is getting high, and I think it's getting worse now.
Securing your crops is a little bit harder than usual. Also, you get a lot of salt in the inland because of the high sea level rise. Therefore, we can't sell much crops as we would like to because our harvest isn't as much as we would like it to be.
I'm thinking of the future, not for me, but for my kids, for my children, because I'm going to leave them behind and they are going to think of it. But still, they don't, one of them doesn't like to leave this place because they are having a business with the fish marketing, so they just want to live here. But they really like to build another place, another house, just in case when this place is covered up with a high tide or something.
There used to be coconut right up to there, and big trees even further back than where the water is now. A lot of land has been eroded away. A good 50 meters, 50, 60 meters is now under the water. So I feel sad coming back to my old playground. These islands will be inundated, or if they're not inundated, the livelihood of people will be very difficult. It will affect our water that we drink.
when the place that gets salty water, and then the coconuts are getting smaller. The water is not so good, and the tree not produce a very big fruit.
We can only adapt so far. For countries like Kiribati may have already gone well beyond adaptation. Maybe we've reached the stage where very little can be done now to reverse the process. We really cannot discuss issues like development if in the longer term we're facing an issue of survival. So no matter how much we develop over the next decades, if in 50 years' time we're going to go under, what's the purpose of it all? There are villages which have been there over a century, and they've had to relocate. This poses unimaginable consequences for us. And we've raised it at the international forum, even at the United Nations General Assembly. And unfortunately, I've not had much interest. So the question arises, what do we do? Well, obviously, we cannot swim for the rest of the millennium. So we have to relocate. Unfortunately, we have to look at that option, undesirable as it may seem.
Initially, the main idea was for the people to migrate elsewhere. A majority of the people have voiced a strong opinion of wanting to remain on the islands. So now our focus is twofold. One is to maintain a living on the islands, and two is to prepare those who would like to migrate so that when they do so, they're able to do that with dignity.
I just want to tell the world that now we live in a small islands, and we want to know if they can help us. So we just want to shout out loud to the world that we are now in great danger and we want their help. Because we love our island very much, and we know that for the next 50 years this will be no longer an island. This will be all an ocean. So we want the world to know that we want their help. We really, really want their help.
We cannot survive. The islands, particularly the islands in Kiribati, which are very low, will be submerged. And then where would the people be then?
This is my home, where else am I to go?
Our people have to face the reality of trying to survive on a day-to-day basis. But as a government, we have to keep them on board. And quite frankly, there is very little that they can do. There is very little that we as a government can do on our own. It's got to be a collective effort of the whole global community.
I know that we are in the front line. So I would ask you to listen and work together how can we help our people to live their life in their own country. We want to stay here. So for you all, I would like to ask you to have compassion.
This is one of the most serious moral challenges facing humanity at this point in time.
Te